Olga Mikhaeva and you are watching the Rus Cable News. It has been already 4 months as famous magazine Transmission and Distribution World is published in Russian language. For American editors, it's the first experience when the magazine is published in the foreign language. Finally, David Miller and Rick Bush arrived in Russia. The American journalists were acquainted with Moscow and the power utilities together with their Russian partners, executives of the edition Electric Power, Transmission and Distribution. This edition makes the US magazine available for Russian readers under the exclusive license. Transmission and Distribution World is distributed worldwide, and its founders, David Miller and Rick Bush, are traveling a lot to share the world experience in power transmission and distribution on pages of the magazine. This was their first visit to Russian companies. This is the Federal Grid Company. It's unique in its infrastructure. Roman Bertnikov, the deputy chairman of the Federal Grid Company's board, has told the visitors about the history, the structure, the main trends of activities and the important role of the company in the Russian power industry. The company is the worldwide leader with regard to the length of transmission lines and the transformer capacity among the public grid companies. One of the main Federal Grid Company's interests today is the technologies of HVDC line construction that provide parallel operation of different power systems. The Federal Grid Company is unique in its infrastructure that supports the state economy structure. Its investment program presupposes construction of power utilities for the Olympic Games in Sochi, the Summit of Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation in Vladivostok, operation of the East Siberia, Pacific Ocean, oil pipeline and the Vankor fields. Its total economical impact is expected to be about 50 billion rubles annually. For the purpose of exchanging the experience, Rick Bush has invited the Federal Grid Company specialists to visit the US power utilities, in particular the operating utilities that use underground high-temperature superconductive DC and AC lines in Long Island.
We've told the American colleagues about the projects we are implementing currently. They've shared the worldwide experience with us, which is very important as we get a new understanding of the known processes.
Well, I was very impressed with the level of expertise that we've learned about. Very much interested and fascinated with some of the projects that they're about to undertake. These are at the very forefront of the utility industry. So, great challenges ahead, and I can't think of a better company than here to achieve it. They also have the funding to accomplish this, and that's vitally important if you are going to proceed. So, they have all the things working: the people, the ideas, and the abilities. So, that's what I found most interesting.
Well, I'm quite interested to understand the way that they restructured and how the results of that restructuring is a significant increase in investment and an investment in new technologies.
This is the Очаково substation, the largest in Europe as far as installed capacity. It was reconstructed 4 years ago. Today it's equipped with the automated process control system and the state-of-the-art equipment.
The substation is a powerful node of 500 kilovolts of Moscow power ring. This is why the definition of the area it maintains is impossible. This is about 40% of consumers in Moscow and Moscow region.
Rick Bush and David Miller visited the Interregional Distribution Grid Company and participated in the workshop with Boris Mekhanoshin, Technical Director, and Mikhail Kurbatov, Deputy Director General. They demonstrated the visitors the operative situation at center. During the visit to MOESK, the guests managed to study the electric vehicle design, to share the experience with the company's technical specialists, and to visit the 220 kV substation Govorova. This is the central office of the system operator. It is responsible for uninterruptible power supply of consumers and manages the whole power system. Russia is the unique and the largest interconnection of power systems in the world. Its territory covers 9 time zones. Over 144 million people live here. System operator also has a training center for training specialists.
Well, first, in this control center, we have the capacity to control power flows over 9 time zones, which is quite impressive. Secondarily, I'm impressed with the quality of the training compared to what I see around the world, that we have training for minor incidents every month and training for major incidents every 3 months. That's quite impressive. Also, the ability to automatically shed load when a problem arises is quite valuable to keep from having cascading blackouts.
I would obviously concur with my colleague here. Most impressive to me is the training aspect. The backup, the redundancy of ability, the training really builds a solid foundation for the success of the model, and I think that's is commendable. And of course, the scale of what we see here is second to none. So it's quite a fantastic experience.
Thank you.
Also, the analytical tools are designed by Russians for Russia, so that you truly do understand what's behind your analytical models, and that's quite a comforting thing when you're the guy at the control center making the decisions.
Excellent point. When you can eliminate the outsourcing of that knowledge, you have control yourself, and that ensures the greater opportunity for success.
Certainly, it is very important for us to know new methods of power flow management available. We have a lot of new equipment, like synchro phasers and DC devices.
And this is the Moscow Power Engineering Institute, one of the largest state universities of Russia in the field of power engineering, electronics, computer technology and economics. According to independent agency raters, ranking the university is among 3 best higher educational establishments of Moscow. Since 1946, this university welcomes foreign students, and at present more than 7,500 of them from 85 countries have been qualified as engineers, bachelors and masters.
This is why foreign experience is very valuable for us. Communication of specialists from different countries and people working in science and education is very useful for us, of course. Education laws are common, however, every country has its own approach, innovations and achievements. To study them and to aspire to the best is probably one of the main challenges.
There are several laboratories with new equipment and with models of past years, which are still working properly.
I was probably most impressed with the students, with the excitement they showed for their field in energy, and then I would also say the more sophisticated power flow control technologies that are using state-of-the-art equipment from around the world. So if I was going to this school, that's where I'd be studying.
The publishers of Transmission and Distribution World magazine also have talked to students. Rick Bush made the presentation for the future colleagues. He shared his vision of global processes going on in the power industry today and the intention of further cooperation with Russia. The American journalists look forward to close interaction with the Russian magazine Electric Power, Transmission and Distribution in sharing the information about the advanced power industry technologies with the whole world.
We found working with Russia to be actually quite easy with our Russian partners. They seem to understand us really well, and we seem to understand them, and it's been very, very smooth because our partners continue to perform when we ask, and hopefully we continue to perform when they ask, with the goal being the same, to bring information from around the world to our Russian readers.
Long-term relations between representatives of different countries have been established. They should lead to further successful development of power system all over the world via sharing experience and meeting arranged by the mass media. Olga Mikheeva and Sergei Litvinenko, specially for the Ruscable News.